Everybody, Harold here. Today I want to tell you all about all. All what, you may ask? All in DAX is defined as a function. Here in DAX guide, documentation, filter in parentheses. Returns all the rows in a table or all the values in a column, ignoring any filters that might have been applied. This is a little straightforward, yet there's a lot more to it than that. Uh, First, the syntax, all. If you see these square brackets here, that means the argument is optional. So every argument here is optional. Put a table name or column name as the first argument. If you use a table name, it stops there. If you use a column name, it's repeatable. Here it says optional, optional, repeatable. Existing table, column in the same base table. Um, what it returns, well, as a table expression, it returns an entire table or a table with one or more columns. But it also has another function. It's also a calculate modifier, and it removes filters from the filter context, just like remove filters. I'll talk about that later. Microsoft recommends you use remove filters. I disagree slightly. It doesn't materialize a table in a filter argument of calculate or calculate table. It can be used as a table expression when it has at least one argument. If you don't use an argument, it has to be used as a modifier. Table argument all returns all rows of the table, including any duplicated rows. Use a single column, its unique or distinct values. Two or more columns all returns unique combinations. So if you have two columns, it returns every distinct pair combination. So that's the documentation. Um, The table expression is not a very common use case. The more common use case is the calculate modifier. And the most common use case of all is to use it to calculate a grand total number. Again, it doesn't create a table in this case. It just removes all filters applied to the model. In other words, if I apply all to a total sales calculation, this would take any filters off and give me a grand total number that I could use for sales. Let's go to the DAX and I'll show you. So here I am in DAX Query View. If you haven't used it yet, it's a great way to evaluate table expressions before you include them in your model. It's this icon here in the left pane. You click on it, you'll get this. Just evaluate and then type your table function. You don't need to name it or anything. So if I wanted the whole product lookup table, I can just say all, excuse me, my cursor, all product lookup. Close. Just run it with the green. And there's the whole product lookup table. If I wanted to run another one, you got to comment out the first one. If I wanted a one column table, I could say all colors, product colors. You can expand these. So all product lookup product color. If I run that, the list of the distinct list of distinct values, a one column table of distinct values in product lookup product color. If I wanted a two column table, and this would be distinct pairs, got to comment out this one. I can say all color, and product name. So I want a list of all color columns of all the product colors, distinct combinations of product color and product name. There we go. Red, 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 HL frame, all the reds, all the blacks, so on. That's a two-column table of distinct pairs. Let me show you something else. If I say all, oh, gotta comment this out. I keep forgetting. If I say all color and say customer education category, run that. That was in my remark. All column arguments of all on the blank row, all selected and remove filters functions must be from the same table. So you can't do that. Comment. And now I'm going to show you real quick before we go to visual view. So let me show you quickly how the filter function works with a calculate table, and then we'll go to visual view. I could say calculate table. Um, all. Use my color again. So I filtered calculated the table of all product lookup product colors. If I try to apply a second filter, say color product lookup product color equals red. Close my calculate. Okay. I run that. Well, red's still in the list because I removed all the filters from product lookup product color. I can't use another filter. It will just be ignored. Let's go to visual view or report view. And I've got a table here, total sales and customer occupation. And I've got sliders for occupation from the customer lookup table and category name. In order to calculate, this is where I'm going to get into using it as the calculate modifier. This data is from Adventure Work. There's a link to it in my GitHub repository in the description. So in order to calculate percent of sales by occupation, I would need a fixed grand total. I need to divide sales by occupation by total sales. So I'm going to try and create a new measure, divide total sales, and see if it'll filter to percentage of sales by occupation. So I'm going to do a new measure. Let me blow this up for you guys. If you hold control and scroll in the box, it'll blow it up. Measure's going to be called, and you're probably going to tell by the title it doesn't work. Bad percent of total. So bad percent of total is equal to divide total sales, which is sum of sales. It's the numerator. And what am I going to use for the denominator? I'll try total sales again. Maybe it'll filter the way I want it to. So divide total sales by total sales. See if it filters the numerator somehow. That's a valid measure. Drop it in my table and, well, everything is 1 or 100%. We know these aren't all 100% of the total, except this one. So that's not going to work. A filter, still 100%, no matter how I filter. So bad percent of total. That's no good. Let's take it out. Because occupation filter is applied, I can't, only gives me 100%. So what I need to do is to make another measure for total sales and remove all the filters. Now, as I said before, the arguments to all are none, a table, or a column or columns. If you apply all with no argument, it will ignore any filters in your whole model. All filters on sales, basically all filters. So let's do another new measure. We'll call this all sales equals, gotta use the calculate. Oh, didn't like that. Hold on, start again here. All sales equals calculate. Shift enter. We'll use my total sales measure again. And the filter argument on the calculate is all open parentheses, close parentheses. No argument needed. And we need to close our calculate, and that should work. We drop, oh, put it in the wrong table. Let me move its home table back to my measure table. And then we'll drop it in. And all sales is now the grand total, always, no matter what I do. Filters, all sales, more filters, all sales, still the 24.4, 24.9. So with total sales and all sales. Now it's just real easy. Well, real quick, before I do the grand total, let me show you that one more new measure. RF sales, and this is where I'm going to use that remove filters I talked about in the beginning, equals calculate total sales. The filter is not all, but remove filters. And you don't need an argument with this, and it does not return a table, so this is the only way you can use it. Close it out, that in there. Oh, I already have one, so we'll just call it remove filter sales. And we'll drop that in our table. With filter sales, forms the same way as all sales. We'll leave it up there so you can be sure it doesn't change. It's exactly the same as all sales. I use all for both table and calculate modifiers because I'm familiar with them. Microsoft recommends remove filters, but I think that's just to avoid confusion between the table function and the calculate modifier. I use all because I said I'm familiar with it, and it only has 3 letters and not 14. So if you apply all to a table or column, it will only ignore the filters applied to that table. So if I apply all to customer lookup, don't worry, I'm getting to the grand total. So all customer sales equals calculate total sales, all customer lookup. Okay. Submit that. Just throw that in there too. Now let's see if we see any difference here. Accessories. Oh, there is a difference. Total sales, all sales, total sales to clerical of accessories. Remove filter sales is the same as all sales. I removed all filters from the customer lookup table, so this won't change anything. 906. This will, it's all accessory sales. So I can apply it to the whole model or to a table. You can go down and apply it to a column also. Only ignores filters from the reference table or column. Now to the grand total. New measure. Percent of grand total equals. Can you guess? We're going to divide total sales. Numerator and the denominator is our all sales. Close that. We're our percent of grand total. Okay, percentage. Let's say 1 decimal point. Drop it in the table. And let's take this accessories off. So clerical sales are 16% of the grand total, and these will add up to 100%. You could go down, percent of customer sales. Let's do that one real quick. Percent of customer sales. We'll just calculate total sales again. Filter is all customers, all. So percent of customer sales equals now total divide total sales. Denominator is all customer sales. The one where we filtered out just filters applied to the customer lookup table. So lock that in. Percent of customer sales in our table. Make that a percentage so we can compare. One decimal point. So if I filter on something from the customer table, it's not going to change 60%, 60%. But so it's ignoring all filters for that percentage from the customer lookup table. If I filter by accessories, well, it does change. It's 0.5% of the grand total, but only 14.8% of the customer sales total for accessories. So there you go. You can filter at the table level or at the column level. All right, let's do one more. I know I'm taking a little bit of time, but I'm going to use uh, variable vars here. So it's a little extra practice. For those of you who are scared of vars, this might help you kind of ease you into them. All a var is a way to abbreviate a measure in order to clean up your deck. So I'll just show you one real quick. Doing all cost. Percentage of grand total. Var. Dumb name. All cost percentage of G2 var. Okay. That so a var, we'll just say var. These have to be all one word. They can't be two. Camel case is the norm here. All cost equals, we'll do our calculate. Then I have a total cost, which is the sum of costs. Calculate total cost. And we'll just ignore all. Just ignore all. That's our first var. We'll do one more var. We can say ratio equals, var ratio equals, and here we'll do our divide, total cost, all costs. So you can use your first var and your second. Comes up in the list, only lives in this measure. It's a way to kind of clean up your DAX and abbreviate things. You've got all your vars laid out. You then need to say return. Oops, I went too quick. Sorry about that. Shift tab. Return what you want to return. In this case, we want to return divide total cost by all cost. So we will return our ratio and it will appear in the list. Again, only in this measure. If you run that, and it doesn't like our argument. Calculate total cost all. Shouldn't be a comma there. Try again. Like that one. Skip here, drop it in our table. All cost. Let's get rid of this. Percent of grand total. Let's just drop total cost in there. So this represents this percentage of this. So you've done an all cost percentage of grand total with vars. Great, great practice for you guys. So that's about all there is to say about all. I hope you like this. Sorry I went on a little long. If you did, please like it, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.